Weirdos, weirdos, balls of ghouls, how are you all doing? Today we're going to be discussing, well, crazy world of the paranormal right now. So for those that don't know, and I think pretty much everybody does, there's a lot of people covering this right now. A good friend of mine, Jason Hawes, he received a heartbreaking video message from Andrea Perrin, pleading with him to try to take over the Conjuring House, to try and buy back piece of her history and ensure that this historical place, something that means so much to her, got into the right hands as opposed to the wrong hands. Andrea Perrin has unfortunately got stage 4 cancer, so her time is limited. And I'm not really one that's emotionally invested in the Perrins, in the house. I've found it interesting over the years. Obviously, this channel, one of the bigger blow-ups I had was because of a video I did on taps, and then the Hell Week thing involving the Conjuring House. So I kind of owe a lot of where this channel is to the Conjuring House and Jason, because obviously I did the debunking video on taps. Jason looked at it and went, damn, he's got a point. He then asked me, could he put out a video? I'm like, you haven't got to ask. I didn't ask you. My footage is free for anyone to use, whether positive or negative, but I do clap back. And he brought this video about how respectful I was and how I may have been right. And I'm like, right, cool, there we go. Spoken to Jason privately. I've been in his live streams. So Jason's plan was to get the Conjuring House, but to get it with the help of the paranormal community. So he set up a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe had certain rules, like if they didn't win, the money would go back. A lot of people are saying, if you don't win, keep the money, put it into another property or a charity of your choice. This community, debunking and the real paranormal community, are so kind. The money raised for charities through me and the side-eye guy, and now this whole thing for saving the Conjuring House, and the genuine outpouring of emotion for Andrea Perrin and what is going on with her health. People keep crying, oh, where's Para-Unity? Where's Para-Unity? And for the most part, the people crying about Para-Unity are the fakers that don't want debunkers looking at them. If you want to see Para-Unity, it's already about on YouTube. It's already about in the paranormal. It's things like people coming together to try to save the Conjuring House because of the pleas of Andrea Perrin. It's things like the Uncanny podcast, TV show, and the stage show that me and Mrs. Geek went to last night, where it's believers and skeptics all in the same room. On stage, you got Danny that sits in the middle, Evelyn, who is team believer, Kieran is team skeptic, and there's not arguments and nastiness and bitchiness. But they don't deal with faking, they deal with, you know, is this real? Is there a natural explanation? So it's a bit less heated than what, say, I do. But I respect that. I mean, if it wasn't for Kieran O'Keefe and Jason Hawes and Taps, I probably wouldn't be a debunker. You know, Kieran was the villain of Most Haunted for a good few years. And then after a while, as I matured, it's like, damn, he's the only honest guy on this show. That's wrong. I do like Richard as well, Richard Felix. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent here. So the GoFundMe goes live, and an incredible amount of money is being raised. And then Elton Casties, out of nowhere, just has this hissy fit. And in this hissy fit, he's basically ripping into Jason Hawes over on Jake Hart's channel. Can't see the comments anymore. I don't know if Jake Hart has turned them off or if my YouTube is misbehaving. But Elton came across like a bit of an egomaniac, because he was like, you did this, you did that, Jason. And I'm like, Jason didn't actually say the name Elton Casties or Matt Rife. Nothing he was doing was aimed solely at you, so why have you got so angry? And then less than 24 hours later, it appears that the GoFundMe was reported and shut down. So Jason and Jay from Jason Hall's channel, they worked hard along with the team that work with them to get this GoFundMe back up and running. They had to supply all this paperwork and details, and they were going live explaining what they were doing, because obviously people are putting money in and they're like, hey, why is this stopped? I've put money in, damn it. Just total transparency. And he's like, if we can't get it back up and running, we will issue refunds. And people are doing the same thing. Put it into another property. Put it into charity. Whatever you want to do with it, Jason. Not all of us want it back. Incredible kindness. They get it back up and running. The funds start rolling back in. And it's like, I think the paranormal community could actually do this. But Jason wanted to get the Conjuring House, but not be the face and the runner of it. He wanted to bring people in to run it for him, and then he had these wonderful ideas, and he'd spoken to Kenny Biddle and other people about it. Because of the plot of land, he could put something or build something on the site where scientific investigations could be done. He wanted to bring ghost hunting forward and try these new ideas and get the input of the scientific community and the Centre for Inquiry. And I'm like, this could be amazing. This could be where ghost hunters, debunkers, the scientific community all come together at a property that is reported to be haunted. And I'm not saying it is haunted. I'm not. But what if it's a 300-old building and there's a storied history? Whether that history is true or not, we don't know. But a lot of people are claimed to have had experiences at this house. So a scientific element to it would be absolutely fantastic. But then the other thing was, Jason was like, we need to keep it affordable so anyone can go there. We don't want this to be $1,000 a night, $1,500 a night, control over the footage, and all of the things that a lot of people are complaining about. The only people not complaining about these price hikes in locations right now are the large channels that can afford it. And let's be fair, some of these people are getting invited to these over-expensive locations for free to promote. It makes business sense, but I'm not a businessman, and a lot of paranormal channels are not businessmen or business people. It's a hobby for a lot of people. So to charge $1,000 a night is just, it's not doable for certainly not any teams I know. I know some large-ish teams. $1,000? Most of the guys I know could not afford that. And, you know, let's bear in mind, most of the teams that I know are in the UK, so that would mean $1,000 plus probably another $500 for flights, but then you got transfers, car hire, insurances and visas, and just not acceptable. And then they've got these rules in place for filming and footage, and you're like, well, look what happened to the side-eye guy. The side-eye guy goes out there, pays his fees, but then he can't make videos himself for his channel without paying, I think it was another $500. But then they were like, yeah, but 2 people are already doing it. You can't have a third. You're not allowed. To me, it's just a way for, 3 teams turn up, but only 2 are allowed to put out videos. The third guy has to come back and put more money in. And ultimately, it failed. The Conjuring House experiment under Jacqueline Nunez failed. It was like, I've bought this house. Corey and Jen Heisen charged very little for the investigations. $125, I think it was, per person. If you had a team of 2, $250 for a night in the Conjuring House. Jacqueline hiked that price up to $1,000, and then there was the $500 on top, and then there was, you can only live stream for 2 hours, but that will cost you. And from what I've been told by people that went there, it was like you could not escape that gift shop and then pushing stock under your nose. And then it turned into a circus for all of the wrong reasons, with the toe tap, the Hell Week, just an absolute ball ache. And then it was like, it got even worse. Jacqueline Nunez, I hope she's getting the help that she clearly needed, made some bizarre claims. Ghosts were telling her, the spirit of Tom Arnold was telling her the staff was stealing off her, so she fired them. And then Jason Hawes had turned up at the property. Look at this footage, and there's a guy with hair that she thinks is Jason Hawes trying to assassinate her. Then she gets done for DUI, which I believe he still has an arrest warrant out for in that state. And it's like, holy shit. How bad did this fall off? And then it turns out she hadn't been paying the mortgage. Just been repossessed, which is where Jason steps in. And the 31st of October, Halloween, mad of the auctioneers that. The house was going up for auction. That's where all of these pleas came from. And people like me were like, don't be Elton, don't be Matt, don't be Bagans, don't be Sam and Colby. A lot of people are saying, what about the twins? Could the twins buy? And I'm like, I don't know the twins' financial status, but are they big enough solely off YouTube to buy that? I mean, Matt Rife is a world-famous comedian. Elton is rich through crypto. The community were already up against, some guys with a lot of money and a lot of sway behind them. And then last night, I go to watch Uncanny. I get home, and I'm like, what do you mean the Conjuring House has been bought? The auction isn't until the end of the month. And then I catch that Jason has been live, but I wasn't able to be in the live because I was in Cardiff. So I watched the live back, and I'm just sat there open mouthed, like, how? And then it turns out there's only a number of ways this could happen. Somebody's either gone to Jacqueline Nunez, paid off her debt, or Jacqueline Nunez has found the money and paid off her debt and then has to keep up the repayments. But is she of sound mind to do that, or somebody else has stepped in on her behalf, bought her debt, and bought the house, which is financially, wow. I mean, what if she turns around after you've bought her debt and says, actually, you're not having the rest of it, and then keeps the house, and a year down the road we end up in the same place? But it looks like somebody with a lot of money has what we call in the UK gazumped the community. From what I've been reading and seeing online, Elton Casties is not involved. Elton Casties and Matt Rife have not had anything to do with this purchase. They may have been looking at auctioning, but I think they were actually live from the Warren House on the 31st, so maybe they could have sent a representative, but maybe they were never really interested, which kind of makes me scratch my head as to why Elton had this massive egotistical blowout. So yeah, could it be Baggins? Could it be like one of the movie companies associated, like New Line own the Annabelle movies and Warner Brothers with the Conjuring? Could one of these film studios have stepped in and been like, we could take that, turn it into a museum of sorts as historical fact to the movie? As a company stepped in and thought, hang on, 1.5 million starting bids. What if we just buy it now and then we re-auction it because it'll go for a lot more and we start to bidding at 3 million? Potentially, but it just feels like somebody was looking at this community. Now, this is just my personal thoughts. It seems to me like somebody was looking at this community movement and went, nah, you ain't having it. This isn't going to be for everyone. This is going to be for rich people. How bizarre. How bizarre. And if this turns out to be one of the fake ghost hunting channels, or, you know, Lord Baggins of Doucheville, what an underhanded, nasty, shitty thing to do. How scummy, how disgusting to have looked at the pleas of a, I'm not being rude, a dying woman, stage 4 cancer, she is dying, she doesn't have long, to know about that, know about the community's outpouring of emotion and money, and then go, nah, fuck the lot of you, we're taking it. Even if it's not a fake paranormal team, even if it is a business. Businesses are unscrupulous, I know that, but holy shit. How did that place sell before the just bizarre turn of events? And it seems, from the outside looking in, like a really shitty, nasty turn of events. Like somebody's just done that to the paranormal community. I'm not talking about debunking community, I'm not talking about fake and real. The paranormal community that could afford to go here, that have an interest in you, because everyone that's put money in has an interest in that, or an attachment to the Perrins and Jason Hawes. Somebody has done that to every one of us that gave a shit, and genuinely, I was hoping that my last video on the Conjuring House in a negative light would be on the 31st, would be like, oh, this idiot's bought it, I'm done with it, wait until the next debunking video, or a celebration, like, look what the community did. Look what they did, and now look at the plans going forward. Scientific investigations, something being purpose-built there for the scientific community, and it looks like it won't happen. There are things that could happen in the meantime that means it happens, but what a shit premature end to what was a fantastic movement in the community. And speaking of people giving the middle finger and being just shitty, Dark Arts TV, what are you doing, Carl? I've said a number of occasions, me and you get along well, me and you are absolutely, you've never been anything but polite and reasonable with me. You put out a video, and at the end of that video, you say, if any of the debunkers or skeptics want to pull this apart, then feel free. And a debunker and a skeptic does exactly what you asked, and then you copyright strike them. You didn't ask. It's got nothing to do with you didn't ask, Carl. It's just because you didn't like what he said. You cannot use the copyright system to silence a critic. It is unfair, and it is illegal. You have used the copyright law in an illegal manner. And Mike from Real Evidence has been seeking legal advice about it, because we know you're in the wrong here. You cannot get away with this. People have tried this before. Bigger channels than you have tried this with Mythos, and Mythos has won. Bigger channels than you have done this to me, and I have won. I've taken on TV networks and won. So you put out all these posts on social media where you're coming across like Billy Big Bollocks of the paranormal, and you are not. You put out all these posts, and then you put out a video pretty much like, yeah, I copyright struck him because blah blah blah, and then bad mouthing, and I'm like, oh Carl, this just isn't a good look for you. If a debunker had the same attitude as you right now, you'd be dragging them over the coals. And Mike still wasn't rude or anything. He makes a response video and he uses, what, 10 seconds of your clip of you slating Mike? And you copyright struck that. You've given him 2 strikes, unfair strikes, because you didn't like what he said. What the fuck is wrong with you, Carl? I know your views are not where they used to be. This isn't the way to boost your views. All you're doing is anyone that's got any questions about you now is like, copyright strikes? Really? Those people that are a bit iffy on you may well go, that's completely unfair. F this, I'm out. And I've, you know, said a little bit about it, but nothing too much, because Mike is a small channel in regards to debunking. Maybe that's why you've done it to him, because he doesn't have the reach that other debunkers have. None of the debunkers have got the reach you have, I don't think. Potentially on occasion I do. The last video I put out where I mentioned you, Carl, I was like, please stop. And I don't know if you didn't see it because you weren't in the thumbnail or the title, because, you know, it was only a very small part of the video. But Carl, what are you doing? Why do you think you've got the right to try and bend the copyright system to silence people? Because if those 2 strikes get reversed, which they can do, Mike has every right to not only get those strikes taken off, but to reverse them onto you. I have never done that to anyone, because it's never been that argumentative. But after your posts and after your videos, I would reverse the pair of those strikes on you to show you feel being 1 strike away from getting your channel taken down. Unfairly taken down. In Mike's case, in your case, you fucking deserve it, mate. You have always, out of all of the circle of friends that you had that I have argued with and gone to war with over the years, you have always been the polite one, the amenable one, the one you can approach, the one you can speak to, the one who wasn't afraid to turn around and say that your friends were being dickheads at certain points. And then you pull this. I don't know what's going on in your real life. I don't know if you got any stresses or trials or tribulations, but don't use real evidence as some form of output for whatever is going on that's made you this angry and not just not angry, what's the word? Vindictive and nasty. That's not the Carl that I'm aware of. Or maybe you are that nasty, maybe you are that deceitful, and you've only been nice to me because I've got a bigger reach, because you've always said that if I made a video, it's fine. Would you have copyright struck me if I made a video that you didn't agree with? Because I don't. Truly bizarre behaviour, and it's pointless me saying, Carl, please stop, because you seem to have the same stick up your ass that Elton Casty's had when Jason Hawes didn't say his name. Bizarre behaviour, and genuinely I hope Mike reverses both of those strikes, and you're sat there with 2 strikes, because there's nothing less than you deserve. What a coward to deal with things that way. You couldn't release raw footage or argue your fact concisely, copyright strike, and then sit there all proud as punch about it. It looked awful, mate. Absolutely awful. And before you come back at me, Carl, I want you to understand something. Look at the way I usually speak about and to people. I'd be calling them a pussy and all of this stuff. The only reason I haven't gone as harsh on you is you have been nothing but kind and respectful to me in the past. And that does, even though you've been really shit to a good friend of mine, that does hold some weight with me. But you were in the wrong here. And genuinely, I hope that Mike takes this all the way. And genuinely, I hope YouTube step in and give you a, oi, you're not allowed to do that. Don't do it again. Because you can't. You're setting a bad precedence. People are going to start, some people may look at what you've done and think it's a good idea, not realising they're putting their own channels at risk just to get one up on someone that said, you can't get touched every day by a ghost. That's ridiculous. That's about as down the middle as I can call it. I'm team real evidence all the way. The YouTube copyright system is absolutely fundamentally busted, and people have been taking advantage of it for years. But things like this are going to keep highlighting it, and, you know, YouTube at some point are going to have to listen. I've seen videos from outside of the paranormal community where they're saying the YouTube copyright system is absolutely broken, and there are lawyers and stuff looking into it. You know, from business YouTube channels and stuff, Think Media, they've got a solicitor looking into things about copyright because people are abusing the copyright system. Some people are being unfairly treated the other way, like people getting the content taken in full, re-uploaded, and then the original creator getting struck. I thought it was just Mr. Grey that happened to. Apparently, it happens a lot, which is an absolute disgrace. So, it's not all doom and gloom. Sometimes I like to end things on a positive. I, on Monday, met up with Clanny Ghost Hunter. Nothing to do with the paranormal. We had some discussions about it, and him being like, yeah, there's a reason I've binned all the equipment. I could just see where it was going and false positives, and spent all this money, and it's, for the most part, junk. But for the most part, we didn't really discuss the paranormal. I just went to meet him because my community, or a lot of people in my community, wanted me to do some food stuff with Kalani, and Kalani invited me along to this buffet of food on a table, and he was like, dig in, do what you want to do, and blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm not here to film. And he was like, all right, cool, but you can. I was like, yeah, but I didn't bring my microphones and I didn't bring any cameras. I've got my phone, but I didn't want to film because I don't want to turn up and my first meeting with a guy be like, hey guys, I'm here with Kalani Ghost Hunter, look at this food, nom 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 nom, how cool am I? I've got a famous friend. Post, rinse, repeat. No, I don't want to use people. So what happened was we were supposed to have had, I think, maybe an hour conversation and just, you know, get to know each other before maybe the next time he comes to the UK doing some food stuff together. And that conversation turned into like a 4.5 to 5 hour conversation. And we stood up like, shit, it's 5:30, we've got to go. And then we ended up being stood up for like another 45 minutes, still having a conversation. And it was all really about the UK, the US, how, you know, his background, my background, and jobs and stuff that we did before the paranormal. Just really personal. I'll give Clanny huge props for this. He looked at me and he said, you don't do enough on Facebook. You have something about you that people enjoy, whether it's movie reviews or your ghost hunting content or whatever. You have something about you that people enjoy. And all you're using Facebook for is posting funny memes and going live notifications and things. Instead of just using it to promote YouTube, why don't you do other stuff on Facebook? Because I've never hidden it. I want to do other content, but every time I try other content on my channel, it fails because it's not paranormal. He's like, so use Facebook for it. You can still do everything you already do as part of your routine, but you can add some fun stuff in. I said I wanted to do some positive stuff, and he was like, well, Facebook. Do it for Facebook, but then you can take stuff off there, turn it into shorts for your second YouTube. Massive conversation about him basically advising me on about how I could use Facebook as a second output for more positive stuff. Things that I want to do that won't fit on this main channel. So my idea has gone the following way. I want to showcase what Wales and then the UK has to offer. Like these little hidden gems, food places, microbreweries, collectible shops. It's stuff that's got to appeal to me. I like beer, so breweries. I like Funko Pops, so Funko Pop stores and collectible stores and stuff. I love food, so these little hidden gems, and a few of these little hidden gems now I've announced it on Facebook. I've already reached out like, can you come here? So I've got like some sort of museum of death or something that I'm going to. It's just a little place in Wales that I never knew existed, and it looks incredible. Not as a ghost hunter, not as a paranormal investigator, just go there to show what they do, what they sell, and maybe give a bit of history, do some shorts and things over on YouTube, over on Facebook. I've got a few other ideas for challenges and a live stream on Facebook, and then I can take some of that content and some of that live stream and put it onto one of the other YouTube channels. Not this one. This is staying the way it always has. Just something fun and positive. So thank you, Kalani, for the advice, because before I've even done a stitch of it, people are genuinely interested in it and businesses are reaching out. Small businesses, and I think it's important to help small businesses. So the Facebook stuff, it will not impact this channel at all. I won't be taking any extra time out of this channel. It'll be plus this channel. I've stepped back a fair bit with the gaming, and there's multiple reasons behind it. I'm getting bored of certain games. Call of Duty, it's in the toilet, and I enjoy my time with my friends, but not the game so much anymore. Every update they bring out, I'm just like, give me some new shit. I'm still using the same guns as 6 months ago. Sort it out. The horror stuff does well, but after about 2 hours, I start to get bored and I want to change games. People want me to play the same game, and then maybe it's because I have been gaming consistently online for going on 4 years now. Maybe that's why there's a bit of repetition and, oh, do I have to again? But Battlefield is coming out, a new Call of Duty is coming out. Maybe those will pique my interest. Phasmophobia is getting more updates. Maybe some solo horror games will get dropped. in this couple of weeks leading up to Halloween, and I can play those. So I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff positive on Facebook. So there'll be one live a week, probably on the weekend when Mrs. Geek is working. And there'll be some, like, reviews of food, reviews of beer, little walk-arounds and things. But also, there's been a lot of interest on Facebook for me to do meet and greets at places that I've been asked to go to, which I think is cool. So I'm in talks with the Funko Pop store in Cardiff. I'll release details closer to it. I'll give them a date, and as long as it aligns with dates that they have free, I'll basically put up a table in there and do meet and greets. It won't be charged on entry or anything like that. I've not got the ego to do that crap. But basically, I'm going to sit in the shop for a few hours one day, and if people want to come in just to get a photo or just to say hello, that option will be there for them. I'll be announcing it. I haven't asked this company, this shop, to promote it. It's a small business. But they were like, yeah, we'll promote the hell out of this. We love your content. I knew they liked my content anyway. I've gone in there a few times, and I've had photos taken and stuff with the staff and with other customers. So it just feels right for me to test the waters with the first meet and greet at a shop that I know watches the channel. It's a small business. It's something that I enjoy and something I collect. So I'll announce that soon. I'll announce it on YouTube and Facebook. But a lot of the stuff from Facebook doesn't apply to the paranormal. It won't apply to the paranormal. But I've had paranormal locations reach out, and they're like, hey, there's these nice places around our location, so would you be willing to come to this location? And then you can do these food and small business reviews on your way. And I've got more and more people coming through like that. So just showing the hidden gems of the UK. Do you see things like Turd Towns and them, and they're funny. I watch them. I want to show the positive. You know, I've seen what that content has done for Parple's well-being. Parple doing his crazy travel stuff. It inspired me. Kalani and his advice has inspired me, but I don't want to copy either one of them, so I'm kind of mixing what they both do. Mrs. Geek seems excited about getting involved in it. I don't know how involved she'll be, but she's been putting ideas forward. So this Friday, 4 PM on Facebook, there is a live stream. I'm doing a little bit of a food challenge. I don't know if it's a proper food challenge, something I've set up. So I'll be going to a location Friday. I'll be buying a selection of what they do. I'll be doing some shorts off the selection, and then there's something big in with this selection that I'm going to try and do on a live stream. It'll make sense if you watch it. If there's interest in the comment section down below about me bringing that stuff to YouTube, it'll probably go on the second channel as a series of shorts or maybe some long form that's taken from Facebook, but it won't impact this channel. This channel is paranormal debunking and gaming. I've got enough going on here without trying to force feed that stuff into you guys. So it may go on the second channel if there's interest in it. So please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below about the new content, what your thoughts. If you've got a small business in the UK that you'd like me to visit, are you somebody that's interested in meet and greets and in your area? Maybe I can start approaching a small business in your area where I could just set up a little table and people could come in and just say hello, maybe get a photo taken, all completely free of charge. I don't want to charge ticket money for things like that. I'm not that guy. I'm not a big enough channel. I'm not a big enough ego. Much love to you all. Beardo out.